All right, a different way of solving quadratic. Sometimes, like I said, quadratic formula always works, so if you're comfortable with the quadratic formula, then that's great. However, sometimes there's problems that lend themselves to other methods a lot easier. Notice in this problem that there's not a linear term, so there's not an x term, so there's something we can do here, and this is called solving using square roots. This only works if there's no linear term, so that is the only time that it works. If there's not a linear term, then this works. So there's not an x sitting over here. There's an x squared, there's a constant term, so no linear term. So that just means x squared and a constant. So this is kind of one of those special cases. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 24 from both sides. So when I subtract 24, I end up with x squared equals negative 24. Now, from here, we can solve the problem. To undo x squared, we take the square root of both sides. So x equals, anytime you take a square root, you need to do plus or minus. So plus or minus the square root of negative 24. Now, if you remember our previous discussions that we've had here, we've said every time we have a negative underneath the square root, we've got to take out our i's. So let's go ahead and rewrite that, plus or minus I square root 24. Now we need to take an additional step and break down 24. So 24, remember only dividing by 2's, 3's, 5's, 7's, and 11's. So 2 and 12. 2 and 6, and then 2 and 3. Circle your pairs. Your 2's pair up. These two don't have friends, so they have to stay inside. So the 2's pair up right here. So that means one set of 2's come out. So that is 2 plus or minus 2i square root. The 2 and the 3 have to stay inside, so we multiply those together to give us 6. So plus or minus 2i square root of 6 is the solution for that problem. I'm going to give you a different one to try. So let's say that it's a little bit more complicated this time. Let's go 4x squared plus, or actually, yeah, 4x squared plus 36 equals 0. All right, I want you to try that problem on your own, or at least get it started. If you get stuck, hit the play button until the point that you figured out what's going on, and then stop again. So I want you to work as far as you can with this problem. So hit pause now and work with it. All right, working a little bit further with this problem, we should have subtracted 36 from both sides first. So you have 4x squared equals negative 36. So now that we're like this, we can divide both sides by 4, again working to get x squared by itself. So x squared equals plus or minus the square root of negative 36 over 4. Now, one thing you should have realized about this pretty quickly is that they're both perfect squares. 36 and 4 are both perfect squares. But we have a negative underneath, so let's take care of that. Plus or minus I square root 36 over 4. And you can actually simplify inside the radical as well. So 36 divided by 4 will give you 9. All right, so moving on to the next page. So we have plus or minus I square root 36 over 4. We said 36 divided by 4 would give you 9. So this is plus or minus I square roots of 9. And then simplifying that, square root of 9 is just 3. So that's plus or minus 3i. And that would be your solution there. If you need to actually see the visual representation of breaking down the 9, it's 3 times 3. Both 3's pair up. There's nothing else left over, so the 3 comes out. If you ever end up with a case where maybe your square root is something, so let's call this 26 over 7, and that doesn't simplify at all, you can leave it like this. This will be a fine solution there. Okay, don't feel like you need to go any further. I will accept a solution that looks like this. All right, I want you to go ahead and do the practice problems now. If you have questions, raise your hand and your teacher will come over and assist you.